What happened to Jim Carrey last night is shocking, scandalous, and inappropriate. And even though I don't usually make videos like this, I really feel the need to talk about this.
I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech. French. So I wrote it, studied it, and practiced it.
But now the whole internet is screaming and buzzing, especially on Platform X, and that's why we're going in to see what's happening. And I want to show you some outrageous things from February 26th at these awards. I've translated it to make it easier to understand what's happening right now. When we type Jim Carrey, these two videos are 4 months apart. You can't tell an entire generation of people who have been watching this man's face non-stop for more than 20 months that the person in the second video in Paris is Jim Carrey. Am I wrong? Where is Jim Carrey?
Worldwide superstardom without fear or compromise.
They trusted themselves completely, always really sincere, very down to earth. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. You know, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy, but you know, it's Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving awards, and I was like, I'm dead for 50 years. I'm dead, but... And I was like, I'm dead. But... And I made mistakes, and I was like...
Jim Carrey goes viral for his unrecognizable appearance, and fans say he doesn't look or sound the same. Well, yes, obviously let's start from the beginning to understand the roots of this story. Jim Carrey is not just an actor, he's a mirror of our collective soul. Why? Born in 1962. In Canada, in a poor family, he grows up in chaos, loses his job, his family lives in a camper, and from a young age, he learns to laugh. Through the pain, he starts to imitate people, does his own makeup, often to cheer up his mother, who suffers from depression. It's the seed of his mask, the role he plays to survive through the 90s. He explodes you.
Thought of me.
Subscribe.
The town is back that way.
Ace Ventura, The Mask, From Dumb to Dumber. Movies that make us laugh, but beneath the surface hide messages about freedom. No, about thinking outside the box. No. In The Mask, he puts on the mask and becomes a superhero, a metaphor for how we all wear masks to fit into society. And in The Truman Show, do you remember, from 1998? A year before I was born, that movie is prophetic. Our lives are a show, in this case controlled by invisible forces, the media and the elites. It actually shows us how Truman wakes up, breaks through the wall, and steps into the real world. How many of us have felt trapped in everyday life, watched by cameras, manipulated by advertisements? As soon as you think of something, it appears and you feel pressured to buy before missing the next deal. This is the first hint that Carrey knows more than she lets on. We all need to ask ourselves, where is the real Jim Carrey? Does he look like you? I mean, the first thing I'm interested in is the first feeling you get when you see this thing. He's a person and someone else. Subscribe to our channel. He looks puffy and perfect. This is Jim Carrey, whom we all know now today. This is now. Subscribe to our channel. What actually? In recent years, he has abandoned his comedic role and turned into an unsolicited. Makes us think more deeply about reality.
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
Look what's happening. So everyone here is hanging out in X, connecting you people with hundreds, millions, and thousands of views. I've been talking about human cloning for a long time, and I'm glad that it's finally gaining some popularity. Jim Carrey was cloned years ago. Something has changed behind the scenes to allow us to see unfinished and non-functioning clones. The new clones have a puffy appearance. It takes time to perfect voices and mannerisms, and additional surgical intervention is needed to create a perfect match. I think this carelessness is evidence of an ongoing silent war against cloning.
You know, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy.
That guy is not going to act like Jim Carrey with us. If he won't act like Jim Carrey, he won't. He's trying to act like Jim Carrey, but he isn't. And look at this picture here. The shape of his face is different, his nose is bigger, his cheekbones are different, and now I'll show you some other pictures. It's obvious that his nose is bigger, it's obvious that his eyes are completely different, and maybe your eyebrows can get thinner, but that's here. It's not even a year since this picture was taken. Guys, okay, here we have a picture of Jim Carrey with Davey Take, which is quite a pleasant surprise. But we used artificial intelligence to analyze Jim Carrey's appearance, and based on our research, there's a 90% chance that he has been replaced. Yeah, look how much more expressive he is. The real transformation starts around 2014-2017. He reaches the peak of millions of fame, but inside he is empty. Depression hits him hard. He loses loved ones, divorces start, the feeling that everything is fake. He escapes into darkness, he says during interviews. Then comes the awakening, as he himself shares, inspired by the books of Eckhart Tolle, for example, The Power of Now. He starts to meditate, to paint, to free himself from this whole game. In 2014, in a speech at Maharishi University, he spoke about his whole purpose. My purpose in life has always been to free people from worries, like my father.
I have an insane belief in my own ability to manifest things. I believe we're creators, and I believe we create with every thought and every word. Every moment is young with the next moment in your life.
Come on, Toll, what? I want to open it. This is from last night. This is a mask. Behold. And here are the eyes. I want to open it. I know that Jim Carrey, he doesn't usually show up. Jim Carrey, he hasn't appeared in movies in recent years. He's generally not around or active, doesn't use social media, and last appeared in Sonic 3.
I love it. I play brilliantly, that's the thing, but I think it's nice.
That's not that person in my opinion. Here somehow it's supernatural. You can see it.
That's nice, but
Then I watched
Everybody talking 1,000 miles an hour up there.
receiving their rewards and I was like, I'm dead.
There's no way that's the same person, says this one. Either he's had a pretty serious procedure done, or that's just not him.
That's it.
That's what people are saying. It just doesn't make sense because, I mean, he shows up. Hey, here he is. Look at him in this podcast. This was a year or two ago.
I don't exist, so I was free from concern.
This is a man who says he exists, that everyone is a character, including Jim Carrey, his very body, his hologram. It's as if he's saying that he exists as a much greater consciousness. And he's always mocking all these things in Hollywood. Look at his expressions, look at how genuinely honest he is. And this man looks powdered.
Has cracked all these things in great awareness and always all these things that exist.
Hollywood. In 2017 at the Toronto Film Festival, he shocked everyone. I don't exist. Jim. Tim Carrey is just a hero, a character. There is no me, no you. Everything is a dream, things that happen.
None of this matters. So I want to find the most meaningful thing I can accept and contain. And here I am. I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself, and
I don't care.
But Jim, you got really dressed up for the occasion? You look good?
I didn't get dressed up. That's not me.
That's not you. We're not here. This is a dream.
The thing, it's not our world.
None of this is true.
We don't matter, we don't matter. Oh, wow.
Or maybe Jim Carrey just isn't the kind of person who would get plastic surgery and change himself, make himself look younger, or change his eyes. For me, it's strange how this thing can reach so many people, and maybe it's because it's Jim and he's like that, but it's also because everyone knows what he thinks about these kinds of awards, and now you'll see it when he wins another Golden Globe. For me, it's strange that a person who exposes cases, big elites and all that, at some point is so happy like a little child and chick about this kind of recognition. Of course, the big media congratulated him and so on, but the people remain. Here, the awards. Caesar gave an emotional speech. I'm so happy to share this art. So many people who really opened their hearts to me. Maybe it's just that person. What do you think? Do you think this is Jim Carrey, or is it some kind of clone or a person with a mask who visually could be his double, just very well made to look like him?
I am two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir, I dream about being three-time Golden Globe winning hacker Jim Carrey.
From 2018 to 2020, Carrey retired from Hollywood. He paints abstract paintings, colors, messages of freedom. In a speech at the Britannia Awards, he says, "The illusory manifestation of the world is capitalism without conscience. The abduction of children is not for great nations." And here we have a hint. This was 10 years ago. About the dark conspiracies that are currently becoming reality. The Epstein files and dossiers, the Hollywood scandals and dramas that are happening right now, the paranoia around the fake pandemic documents have already come out showing that it was very well orchestrated, now acknowledged, and so on. I don't know anything about Botox or those kinds of procedures, but people who have had them and know about it, please tell me, what do you think about this? For me, it's strange, and I personally feel a kind of very strange heavy ball in my heart, because our favorite just isn't himself. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the next things will be after what so many people raised as a question, and it keeps going everywhere. As you can see, here's another comparison, just as we're used to seeing it, and this thing the yearly agenda. He talks about the ego as an illusion, as something he created. He also publicly stated that he is stepping back, retiring, he's done with Holly from now on. Suddenly, he returns to the red carpets in Paris, looking completely different. He makes appearances that he used to mock before, says things like, "I'm dead, I've said too much. My favorite face is the one I'm wearing now." This combination is the reason the internet is growing. Retired, but back, there is no wisdom, and there's the face I wear. Was Jim Carrey trying to tell us something, or were we just not listening because here in Bulgaria, this part of him isn't talked about? When we see him, we think of, oh, The Mask, The Truman Show, but actually, in recent years, that's exactly what he's been doing. And after all this, everyone should decide for themselves what we're actually watching, whether it's literally true or not. The fact that this is even happening at all, and so many people have started sharing and talking about it, is convincing enough that millions of people are seriously considering it. This tells us something deeply disturbing about where we are as a civilization. Of course, anyone can explain the physical differences with bad plastic surgery, aging, contact lenses, voice training, whatever is technically possible. But what we can explain is the complete change in personality. The demeanor, guys, Jim Carrey famously hates these award shows and awards. He mocks them.
This is a complete change, the personality. You don't know what that is. You don't know what that is. I have no idea. You don't know what?
Comics and show business don't know what that is. Come on, Jimmy, I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-month show. Hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
That's totally in the personality. I have no idea. Soft, respectful, as he is very grateful to be honored in this way. Valine is gone now. Oh God, who is that? They replaced Jim Carrey with a double. No, that's as silly as flat earth. There are people like that too. I need to stop blaming the entire toxic industry for plastic surgery, whatever it is. People just enjoy how others react. I'm sorry, but there's a 0% chance that's actually Jim Carrey. I'm not saying it's a clone or some kind of stupid conspiracy, but for some reason, he's obviously using a double to replace him. There's no plastic surgery that can change your eyes. This guy doesn't have the presence that you associate with his usual traits. This Jim Carrey? Like... He's not the Jim Carrey I knew. He had brown eyes, now this one has green eyes. No one noticed the German lips. There are some other pictures here, people have tried to show them. Yes. Oh, wait, I just realized, wait, I just saw it. Oh, okay. Look at this, look here, how it is in his original photo, and look here. Do you see this thing? Wait, let me zoom in. Do you see this thing? Look at how it is now and look here how it is. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a mask. In my opinion, things like this aren't strange because we've seen it before. Now I'll show you Joe Biden because this is the real Joe Biden. And on the right is his other version. The current one and before, so here he is before and now. I'm not saying anything, take it as you want, it's just very strange to me. This is when his mask slipped, meaning when Joe Biden's mask came off, to go to the next. Do you see that it's the same type of mask? That's what I wanted to show you. When you look at it, it's smoothed out like this. Do you see how perfect it is? Who looks like that at his age, right? 80 years old, 76. The specifics aren't as important as the fact that the technology exists in some form to replace a person with something close enough that most people won't notice. The real question isn't how, but why. The answer is control, and everyone knows it. That's the simple answer, but for me personally, in my heart. When I saw those clips of Jim Carrey this morning, my heart tells me this is a bit more now Joe Biden, other people, right? Maybe it passed as normal, but with Jim Carrey it really sounds strange and off. There is a deeper purpose that has been going on for many years, and it is for people to feel this division. And more to make you doubt yourself, so that you can't trust your own perception, your own heart, your own intuition, and your own connection to the source, your own mirrored awareness of who we are beyond the physical frame, something that Jim Carrey has been repeating for a long time. But those times are really coming to an end. Because if it weren't so, there wouldn't be so many dynamic events happening all the time and so many people reacting positively and loudly to all these statements. Everyone is looking for the reason why he agreed to this thing. There's a misconception that he's giving up on Hollywood and those glamorous spotlights. Of course, he might have been forced and all those things that come to our minds. But what I want to tell you is that he himself seemed to know this thing. There is information that Jim Carrey was cloned, and he himself says it, while the Jim Carrey we know still exists. And he even shared this thing that they use him as available even without him being there in those places, and this ties in with the idea that the person is not important, but the brand is important. The brand is also Jim Carrey. The brand can continue endlessly to generate revenue, to sell products, to influence culture, long after Jim Carrey, the person, is gone. And actually, here we don't look at a person in this way. We look at an intellectual property that can be renewed, can be modified, can be replaced for maximum profit. Maybe he just softened with age and finally decided to give in and bow down to the Hollywood system that mocked him for decades. By the way, maybe someone very well trained brought him out for a month and did this thing, but in any case, we can agree that it's really strange that this is happening on the same days as so many other events. A lot of you might think that I'm making this video because it's starting to become a trend in these circles. Epstein files, conspiracy, and so on. But guys, Davey Tag has been talking about this for 30 years. If we owe any apologies, awareness, or revelations, it's to him. Or to all those people who have stood out as individuals, to stand up and say, people, this is really happening right now. Look, see who it's about. And until now, we've labeled them as conspirators, as abnormal, crazy, illogical, strange, mentally ill, inadequate, and so on. Back in the day when we watched Jarvis from Iron Man communicating with Tony Stark, we thought, wow, that's amazing. But we figured it would come in 50 or 60 years. Well, here it is in our homes. Wait, you don't exist. Just 2 years ago, and now everyone is using it. Tesla launched electric cars in, 2013, and now we're already talking about the first flying cars in China, in Dubai, about the end of an era. Within a few weeks, Barack Obama was on a podcast where he said that aliens are real, he just hasn't seen them. He realized what he was saying only after he had already said it. Donald Trump ordered all files related to unidentified and flying objects to start being declassified, and very soon this will become clear. Now we see something very strange, which, if you dig deep, you'll see has happened to other people as well. It's just that they weren't of the rank of Jim Carrey. And such an expressive person, a person who has trained in facial expressions, a person we know. Because of how he imitates people, how he jokes with everyone, all his movies, his face is always very expressive. Here, his eyes, his facial expressions, it's absurd, everything is different. Or most of us here in Bulgaria live as if it's the 90s, except the Mercedes SL looked great in 95, but how many can you see now? Let me know your thoughts. This is interesting and worth reflecting on. For me, this person we saw a moment ago who answered so responsibly and didn't know about what was happening behind the scenes shares it very clearly here. To act greasy, to fool around like this. Even though this is Jim Carrey, we're used to him behaving this way, but not like this. Usually he's always done it consciously. Here he just looks like a puppet. I don't know, we'll see. Share your opinion. Let this be another signal, a wake-up call, and a reminder to look more clearly and think when we see things happening around us. It's definitely strange, and my instincts tell me that's not Jim Carrey, that's a double, and they're trying to fool us big time. But in my opinion, they made a mistake with this person because there are too many people, too much attention. That's from a material perspective. On a more global level, if we imagine that aliens, the Galactic Federation, are watching, observing these events from this broader perspective, from a universal point of view. For me, this is yet another test, whether we and later on how we will react, or if once again we will just say and find an explanation for where, what, and why. In my opinion, many such things will keep happening in the future, and they are already happening. Bill Clinton denies his connections with Epstein. The internet considers Jim Carrey a clone, artificial intelligence is taking away jobs, World War III is trending, the world is run by satanic pedophiles, and the government is constantly hinting at aliens. Anyway, I'll just sit at my desk and stare at the XRP charts until the network crashes, and I'll keep investing in cryptocurrencies. Now is exactly the time when we need to turn more and more inward to our intuition, to learn this connection that is outside of us, with the entire field of information, with the universe, with God, with Allah, whatever you prefer to call it, however you feel it. to trust what we feel. Personally, it gave me a little more of that, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Yes. We pretend that many of these things don't exist while we close ourselves off in our own bubble. That's our right. But there are many other things happening, and if we pay attention to them, we'll broaden our own perspective. And that will help us stop bad-mouthing our fellow citizens, our friends, and stop criticizing. What is really happening beyond money, beyond material things? And to be able to use all this knowledge to spread love. To return to those deep messages from 2,000 years ago, from that legendary figure from Galilee. To discover that strength in our hearts, to find even more courage to express ourselves. When we see or feel something that our brain says is absurd to say, that's strange. And that's the freedom of being able to be ourselves and of having these networks and YouTube and the internet. That's something, when it becomes so trendy and so popular, really gets stopped, just like it used to happen with many things in the past. So, let this strange case with Jim Carrey not provoke us, but make us think about what we give our attention to, because attention is the most valuable currency, not time. And to all the younger people, I've been there and I've gone through that. I've been in a show, I've been in Bulgaria, not on such a big scale and distances. But don't listen to the big ones who tell you that the world is set up in a certain way. Follow your own world, your thrills, your smiles, your dreams, your tears, your hearts. Think critically, but also allow the impossible to be possible. Turn off the TVs. You have the right to choose to create the new reality and the new world, and everything depends on you. Whether you want to make what is written in 1984 come true or you prefer a different world. Who, like the character Truman played by Jim Carrey in The Truman Show, broke through and from then on was free. There are many revelations ahead, and I am very grateful and happy that we are part of this era. This is the change that is happening right now throughout society, and as they say, welcome home. Share more ideas for this video type. Searching for and using them really interests me. This could be the start of something new. Until then, stay vigilant, stay aware, and always make sure to subscribe. The time has come when humanity refuses to be controlled, refuses to be manipulated, and creates and shapes its own world. On that note, I am very happy to announce to you that next Sunday it starts with pre-order. The pre-order for my book, Touching Reality, which I have been writing for 3 years, is finally ready, and next Sunday we will announce the pre-order. And after that, we are going on a tour in more than 20 cities in Bulgaria to present it and to meet all of you. Feel it in your hearts, touch your own truth, and create the life you desire. Now is the time to share your own truth, to be honest and to discover, so that we can be more and more ourselves, because after all, we don't have any other option.